Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tomas Cardoso, and today we're going to find out what we can achieve with the 10-year-old camera that I got from my dad and a very cheap lens. Let's find out. So I'm joined here by my girlfriend Raquel.
Hi.
She's going to be the model for today, and let's see what we can achieve with this very cheap camera. This camera was an entry-level DSLR 10 years ago. That's when it was released, and right now it costs just as much as £69 as I found online, but you probably can find it cheaper. You won't be able to find it new, you have to buy it used by someone, and you can finally start approaching manual mode and really exploring the limitations that most phones have, that bigger cameras like these that have swappable lenses don't. So one thing I really like doing in every session is to take warm-up shots. Warm-up shots are really good both for you to really get your settings on your camera right, and the model also needs to get loose and get comfortable with you, because I was shooting with my girlfriend, but if you're shooting with models or if you're shooting weddings or any kind of stuff, the best photos of people is when they are comfortable. And if you can help with that, the photos will turn out better for you and for them. So we're using the Canon 350D with the 50mm 1.8 basic lens, and we're getting some interesting results. The one thing that I'm really missing on this camera is the electronic viewfinder that it doesn't have. But you know, if you take one picture, you can check if the exposure is good, and if it's not, you can adjust. And one thing I would recommend you is to shoot underexposed, because you can bring shadows a lot better than you can bring down the highlights. Also, one tip that I have for you guys is to, from time to time, try reviewing the images with the model so that they know how they're doing, what they can improve on, and make them comfortable. As I said, the best pictures of people that you're going to capture are probably the ones that capture a moment where they're comfortable. That is a pose that is comfortable to them. And so by showing her the pictures, and you don't have to be that direct in, look, you're not doing a very good job, and they'll see the pictures, and when they go in front of the camera, they'll know exactly what to do next. When you're doing these model shoots, try bringing your phone, try bringing a speaker and put some music, get her in the mood and stuff. You know, that really helps. Next tip I have for you is to tell models to react to the shutter. This may depend on what photo you're looking for. If you're looking for a very special pose, this doesn't apply to you, but in most cases you actually want models to react to the shutter, so that when you press the shutter, the model reacts and changes poses, for example. You see what I'm doing here? And sometimes models are just really focused on their work, on their poses and how they're looking, and they forget about it, or they just don't know. And it can be really beneficial for you to get different angles and different poses, and when you go back to the computer, to the editing room, you really have more to work with. So, last location, I found this cool graffiti. We're under the bridge. Então. So guys, last location now. I found this cool graffiti and we're under the bridge, so I'm gonna shoot here. You'll see on the screen already some images. And yeah, let's go. Hey, we just finished shooting with these $200 setup-ish. So, this first photo, I really like it. Like I said, this 50mm 1.8 really gets your foot in the door of experimenting with wider apertures, and you start to get depth of field. And I like this shot because it has dimension. The look on her face is good. What I like the most about this picture is that both the foreground and the background is completely out of focus, and it really gives a cool dreamy vibe to it. This second shot is a full body shot. I think the leading lines really help to direct the attention to the model, my girlfriend Raquel, but I don't think the bridge is well framed, and that's on my part, but I don't really know how could I improve on this based on the location. It's an overall good looking shot, but I think it could be better. So, this third shot, I like the really cozy and cold feeling that it portrays, but I also don't think that it is really well framed. I think that I miscalculated and missed the composition on this shot, but if you're going to crop this for Instagram, the top portion is going to be cut out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now this picture implements a technique that I found for shooting models, that is to tell them to walk in your direction and you want to capture the step. Also the leading lines really help, and you know I'm a sucker for leading lines. This one is one of my favorites from this session. Of course, I was shooting with my girlfriend and we're very comfortable with each other, but when you're shooting with a model and you get really comfortable, it's a very different pose from what she's used to, and I just said try it out. If you don't like it, we'll delete it and it's okay. Now this shot is also very interesting, shows more of the background and get that bokeh that most people like, the out of focus background. I like the colors, I like this shot. Now this shot is a variation of the previous one. I like the previous one as well, but I also like this one, so that's why I made it. Now this shot is also very interesting. It's one of my favorites too, because it's not a normal pose, it's not very common. It was really fun to get out of my comfort zone and put her outside of hers too, and this was the result. I really like this shot. Another variation, she also does not do these kind of poses very often, so it really was fun to experiment with it. Now this shot is also pretty amazing. It's one of my favorites from this session. I like the tree branches behind her, it really gives a mysterious look. It just really has a nice vibe that I often don't capture. Now from the graffiti area, I only really like two shots, so here's one. This one's cool. All the colors in the background are very saturated, but not too much to the point where it's distracting from the main subject of the photo, that is the model. And the final one is also a different photo from what you're used to see. It's this one. Again, it's cool to experiment with different poses that you're not really used to. And if you try it and you don't like it, you can always delete it or just don't give a fuck about it and move on. That was all from Studio Tomasz. Now, let's go back. Okay. So we just finished shooting with the Canon 350D and the 50mm 1.8. I think the photos turned out good. I'll see you in the editing room. I'll take you guys with me. But overall, this is a pretty good camera, especially because it's very cheap right now. It's 10 years old, and the results you can get with it are pretty amazing. You already saw the pictures, I haven't, but you know, I'm sure they will turn out fine. So she's a bit nervous, she doesn't want to talk.
Claro!
Also, if you want me to my tips on model direction and what I know, I don't know a lot, but I can share what I already know and how I direct the people that I'm shooting with. I can make a whole separate video about it, and I really hope you like this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If not, just leave the video. You don't have to do anything. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe and maybe, just maybe, hit the little bell to get notifications when I post a new video. That's all from us. Thank you guys so much for watching.